You can see where you want to go. That is the strange part. It is right there, a smudge of hills on the far side of a bright open plain, and you have been looking at it since breakfast. You will still be looking at it tomorrow, and the day after that. Nothing is stopping you. There is no wall, no river, no enemy. There is just distance, and the only machine you own for crossing it is your own body. This is what a journey was for almost every human being who has ever lived. Not a ticket and a departure time. A decision to spend a piece of your life walking. And the question people never think to ask about the ancient world is the most practical one there is. How did anybody actually get anywhere? Now, you already have a shape in your head for the answer, and it looks like a graph going up. People walked, then somebody tamed a horse, and it got faster. Then wheels, then better roads, then carriages, then trains, a nice smooth climb from slow to fast, every century a little quicker than the one before. That picture is wrong, and it is wrong in a way that is genuinely hard to believe until you see the numbers, because the real graph is not a climb at all. It is a flat line about 4,000 years long, and then a cliff. Start around 500 BC. The Persian Empire runs a road from Susa all the way to Sardis, roughly 2,700 kilometers of it. Herodotus describes what they do with that road. Horses and riders are stationed along the whole length of it, and a message is handed from one rider to the next, day and night, without ever stopping. A man walking that road needs about 90 days. The relay does it in 7. Now jump forward 2,000 years. Northern India, the 1540s. Sher Shah Suri rebuilds the Great Road running from Bengal to the Khyber Pass, and he lines it with around 1,700 relay posts and some 3,500 horses, so that news could be handed forward exactly the same way. 2,000 years apart. Different continent, different empire, different language. The same trick at the same speed. That is the fact this whole video is built on. For something like 4,000 years, the fastest a human being or a piece of human news could travel was the speed of a horse, and that number barely moved. Alexander could not travel faster than the Persians he conquered. Caesar could not travel faster than Alexander. Napoleon could not travel meaningfully faster than Caesar. The ceiling did not lift until steam in the 1820s. So how did people live under that ceiling? Start before the animals, when the only vehicle was the body, because here the surprise is how good that vehicle actually is. Humans are unusually bad sprinters and unusually good not stopping. We sweat instead of panting, we carry our heads level while we move, and we can keep going through midday heat that shuts down almost every animal we share a landscape with. Which is why the first great human journeys are on foot, and then, startlingly early, not on foot at all. To reach Australia, you have to cross open sea. There is no land bridge, and there never was one. A team led by the archaeologist Chris Clarkson dates human occupation at Majbeet in northern Australia to around 65,000 years ago. That exact date is argued over. Some archaeologists think the sand those tools came out of had been disturbed, but push it later and the problem does not go away. To be in Australia at all, somebody had to build a boat and deliberately sail out of sight of the shore they were leaving. Sit with that. People were crossing open ocean tens of thousands of years before anyone could cross a continent quickly. So what actually changed when we finally got the horse? Less than you would think, and later than you would think. Ancient DNA from 273 horses, published in Nature by a team led by Pablo Librado, traces the ancestors of every modern domestic horse to the steppes north of the Black and Caspian Seas, and their spread across Eurasia only begins around 2200 to 2000 BC. For most of the human story, there was no such thing as riding. The wheel is older. Solid wooden discs turn up around 3500 BC, but a wheel is only ever as good as the ground underneath it, and on soft or broken country a cart is genuinely worse than a pack animal. For most of history, the wheel was a farm tool and a war machine long before it was a way to travel. And the horse itself has a catch almost nobody thinks about. A galloping horse is fast for about an hour. Over a full day, carrying a load, on a road, a horse manages maybe 30 or 40 kilometers. Better than a person. Not transformatively better. The horse never really made travel fast. It made messages fast, and only if you had somewhere to swap it for a fresh one. Which brings us to the strangest thing in this entire story. The richest and most powerful people in history were very often the slowest travelers alive. When a Mughal emperor traveled, he did not take a carriage. He took the capital with him. The Italian traveler Niccolò Manucci and the French Dr. François Bernier both rode with the imperial camp, and both described the same astonishing thing. A moving city of something like 200,000 people, with roughly as many animals again, taken down each morning and laid out each evening in the same streets and the same squares as the day before, market and all. There were even two complete camps. One stood while the other went ahead and was pitched, so the emperor always arrived at a finished palace. It is a magnificent piece of organization. It also moved at roughly 10 to 12 kilometers a day. When Jahangir traveled from Lahore to Kabul, the journey took 67 days. Which means something wonderfully absurd. One person walking that same road, carrying nothing, would overtake the emperor of Hindustan and leave him behind. The most powerful man in India was the slowest thing on his own highway. And the reason is not ceremony or laziness. It is arithmetic, and it is the hidden law behind every journey in the ancient world. The historian Donald Ingalls worked it out for Alexander's army. An animal that carries food also eats food. A horse can carry about 3 times what a man can, and it eats and drinks about 3 times as much. So load a pack animal with grain, set off, and it will quietly eat its own cargo as it walks. Ingalls calculated that however many extra animals Alexander added, his army could never carry more than about 2 weeks of supply. Add more animals, and you add more mouths. That single fact explains almost everything else. It is why armies had to keep moving toward their food rather than carrying it. It is why the ox cart, at maybe 15 kilometers on a good day, stayed the backbone of land transport for thousands of years. And it is why elephants, for all their magnificence, were never really transport. An elephant cannot trot and cannot gallop. It has one gait. It is a fortress that walks, and it walks at about the speed you do. So if you cannot make the journey itself faster, you have exactly 2 options, and every empire that lasted found both. The first is to stop moving the person and move only the information. Rome ran the cursus publicus. A study by A.M. Ramsay of recorded imperial journeys put its couriers at roughly 65 to 100 kilometers a day, sustained for weeks. The Mongols pushed it further still. Marco Polo describes relay stations spaced about 25 miles apart across the entire empire. The second escape is water, and the size of the gap here is hard to overstate. Working from the price list the Emperor Diocletian published in AD 301, the historian Richard Duncan Jones estimated the relative cost of moving the same goods by road, by river, and by sea at roughly 1, 5, and 56. 56 times cheaper by sea. It was easier to ship grain across the entire Mediterranean than a cart a few days inland. But the sea charged its own price, and it was not money. It was time. In the Indian Ocean, the wind reverses with the monsoon, blowing one way for half the year and the other way for the other half. Ships leaving the Red Sea could reach the coast of India in about 40 days, and then simply wait. For months, for the wind to turn around and let them go home. Distance out there was not measured in kilometers. It was measured in seasons. And that is the thing worth carrying out of this. For almost all of human history, the map inside people's heads was not made of distances. It was made of days. A day's walk was the real unit of the world. Everything inside one was yours, and everything outside, it was a rumor somebody told you. It is why two villages 40 kilometers apart could have different words for the same vegetable, different songs, and different gods, and think of each other as foreign. Not because anybody lacked curiosity, because the cost of going to find out was 3 days of your one life, and you had crops in the ground. You will probably cover more distance getting to work this week than most people in history covered on purpose in a year. And that is not because we got braver or stronger or clever than they were. We walk at exactly the speed they walked. The distance never got any shorter. We just stopped paying for it in days.